So I went to the System of a Down and KoRn show at Metlife in New Jersey, and I gotta say it was, and I'm not just saying this, it was really one of the best shows I've been to in a while. Felt like a teenager again in some respects. I'm gonna explain. See, now I went there, I had run into Shabo when I went to NAMM back in January, and I said, dude, I'd really love to go to the Metlife show. It was sold out. And he says, dude, he told me to get in touch with him, and he said that he was going to get me in just to let him know the week of. So I did that, and you know, Shabo followed through with his word, which he really didn't have to do. He's a really cool guy, man. He's a really very, very generous dude, and he really hooked me up and my cousin. I brought my cousin along with me, and we had a good time. It was such a cool experience. I've been to MetLife. I've seen Metallica play there. I didn't know what to expect. You know, first of all, where I was going to be sitting. I ended up with a guest pass where I can pretty much go into different sections. And I opted to stay in general admission because it was really nice to be in the crowd for this occasion. And where we were standing, I was with Rockfeed, Brian Storm of Rockfeed. I ran into Will Ramos of Lorna Shore. Shout out to Will. Who knows, maybe there's going to be some videos with Will in the future. First off, KoRn played, and we watched their performance. I gotta say, man, the one thing that I forgot to bring was ear protection, and my ears were ringing. I already have a little bit of ear damage from, you know, I had a surgery on my eardrum. I had a cholestoma. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up. You know, I had my eardrum reconstructed, basically. So my ears were ringing. I should have brought ear protection. I forgot. It wasn't that I just decided not to. But let me tell you something. The sound in that place, when KoRn played, the bass and drums sounded like you felt it pounding through your body. Like, it was just like, it hit you like a ton of bricks. It was so heavy. And I know KoRn has their heavy moments. And when I think about System of a Down and KoRn, I love the bands. Their songs bring you back. You know what I mean? It's a great experience of nostalgia going to a show like this. But, you know, they're definitely not the heaviest bands I listen to. However, that night, man, did KoRn, especially KoRn, sound so heavy. So heavy. That Here to Stay riff, boom, 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 boom. It's like, whoa, man, it rumbled the entire stadium. I have the video pulled up here. I want to watch. That riff is one of my favorite riffs ever. I don't know, it's like one of these riffs that keep coming back. Like every once in a while, like it's one of these like random riffs that'll come into my head and I'll just go boom, boom. Like I'll think about it. Cause it's just so boom, 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 boom. When they played that felt like a ton of bricks was slamming into your body. Like it was amazing to hear that live. It sounded so heavy. Anyway, then System of a Down played. We made our way to kind of more of the middle, and the crowd was forming behind us. So, you know, people were kind of bunching up. As soon as they started, what do you know? We were in the middle of the pit. I was like, oh shit, the walls were coming down. It's like, oh man. You know, so I haven't been in a mosh pit since I was probably in high school. While I was there, I might as well, you know, participate a little bit. I pushed some people around, and then I went to the edge and kind of just pushed people as they came, you know, launched people every once in a while. Some crowd surfers, they wanted to go up, threw them over, stuff like that. You know, it's funny because I usually don't participate in this kind of stuff. I mean, this is the stuff that I used to do years ago, and I found myself in the middle of it. And you know something? It was a fun experience. It was fun to be a part of the crowd. Anytime I go to shows now, it's usually seated areas and I'm watching from a distance and I got earplugs in, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I love that. You can enjoy the show that way too. I always felt like I didn't want to have anything to do with this kind of stuff anymore because it's just like, I don't want to be around sweaty people. But man, It was great to embrace. There he is. Oh man, this place opened up. I'm reliving this now. Dude, they sounded great. That place so fun. The one thing I noticed about Serge was that he sang a little bit lighter live, but his voice really cut through like a knife for me. Like, you know, he had such a bright tone to his voice. Before singing vocals like this, it's important to warm up, so I've created a free vocal warm-ups course. So if you're interested in warming your voice up and exploring the capabilities of your voice freely, check out the link in the description or in the pinned comment below. Let's continue. The entire band, they seemed like they had so much fun playing with each other. Like they were like laughing with each other and stuff, like kind of like giving each other almost like they had some inside jokes going throughout the show, and it was such a feel-good energy. It really was.
Everybody sing along.
See, this was awesome. Fucking everything was great. When they played Chop Suey, man, the pit was going crazy. You know what I liked about the pit? Because I've seen some gruesome pits in my life. And, you know, in the early 2000s, my band at the time, I had a band named Rot in Pain, which was a play off of Rest in Peace. I know, very original, edgy, whatever you want to call it. And it was just exactly, probably, it sounded exactly how you imagined it sounds. Like, it just sounded like a stereotypical, all metal stereotypes in one. And it was metal and hardcore, influenced by Kill Switch Engage at the time, Lamb of God, Pantera, a lot of the new age of American heavy metal. And I've seen the worst of the worst pits, the most violent pits imaginable, like really, truly unsafe pits. Okay. Mosh pits. The thing I loved about System of a Down pits was that this was just like the old school, like just this is a party. Like most people were just more, it was more of like jumping around and singing together than it was like anything crazy. Like no hardcore dancing, fists being thrown. I saw one person try to do that, but they didn't last that long. Man, this was a great experience with Chop Suey, because when that breakdown came on, everybody was singing. We were screaming in each other's faces, like people I didn't know. I was with Brian from Rockfeed. We were singing together. My cousin. It was just a beautiful time. I like that too. Table, I don't think you trust. Table, I don't think you trust. He keeps it very bright and, like, you know, operatic too. It's like, you know, if the note is kind of pushed back, you know, oh, keeps a very, like, neutral position.
In my self-righteous suicide.
See, what I love is, like, you're hearing them sing. They're singing great, but you can hear that echo of the crowd, man.
I cry. The angels deserve the die. Self-righteous suicide. I cry. The angels deserve to die.
I'm getting chills. He actually got that note, man. That's not an easy note to get. That is really impressive. I think, you know, the fact that he went for that note, because if I were performing live, I probably would just opt for the lower harmony or something. Beautiful. They're so good, man. This footage doesn't really do it justice, but even watching this, usually sometimes, like, I'll go to a concert and then I'll see the footage of it afterwards and be like, ah, man, this really doesn't do it justice. But at the same time, you can still feel the energy through this clip. Like, you can still feel it. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is about this show, dude. Like, there was a lot of people who were there will say the same thing. It was just a lot of people. There was a lot of joy in the air, a lot of singing, people connecting, good vibes. You know, except for the guy that was, you know what happened during KoRn's set. You know what I mean? Like, some guy was watching KoRn, got a little too excited, and got escorted out. But, you know, these things happen at rock shows. Not exactly, but, I mean, you know, there's a first time for everything. I hope not everything. Anyway.
Such a lonely day should be banned. It's a day that I can't stand. The most loneliest day of my life. Such a lonely day shouldn't exist. It's a day that I'll never miss.
They actually started having some audio problems here. The guitars were really cracking through those speakers. You can notice towards the end. But they just have amazing songs too. You know, I know this. I feel like Lonely Day has got a similar writing quality to like Yesterday by the Beatles. Actually, the Beatles, they remind me of the Beatles in some way, like with the way that their harmonies are arranged and just the songwriting. Simple songs. Maybe not all of them. I know like they've got a lot of different shades to their music. You know, with the crazy stuff, like just like the erratic metal shit. I don't even want to say metal. Like they're known as a metal band, but there's just there's so much going on with System of a Down. It's such an interesting sound. When it comes down to the singing and the harmonizing, they really have some of the most beautiful melodies and harmonies I've ever heard. And then when you have a crowd singing along. Now, this is the thing that gets me. I've seen Metallica at Metlife. I've seen a bunch of bands, and I've seen Metallica a lot. They're one of my favorite bands, you know, from childhood. But there's a sense of sadness seeing Metallica, and I'll be honest. Because for me, like, you know, you're seeing, they're a lot older. They are a lot older. They can still rock. They're great. But, you know, they don't bring the same energy they used to, which is fine, because that's just the way it is. With a band like System of a Down, this is the stuff, this is more my generation's music. You know, growing up in the early 2000s, being in high school at that time. And as these bands get older and turn into legacy acts, I connect with this. But the other thing is that there's more energy. There might be more youthful energy in a band like System of a Down and KoRn, because they still have a lot more to experience, especially System of a Down. There's definitely more music in them. They have such a quality discography of songs, and I know they've got vaults of ideas and stuff that, you know, when the time is right. I think now is the time. My prediction, given another maybe a year, within the next year or two, they're going to start working on stuff. They have to write something else. I feel it, you know? They don't have to, like, it's not an obligation, but it just makes sense. They're so good, man. They're so good. And I'm so grateful to have been given that opportunity to be a part of that show, to get that pass from Chavo, which is not something he had to do. The hospitality was amazing, but really it was an opportunity. I didn't really expect for this show to hit me this way. See, this is the other thing. Usually when I go to shows like this, I'm like, oh man, it was a great time. You talk to people, you hang out, and it was fun. But this was like lightning in a bottle. I don't expect to go to shows and have a moment of like feeling like I'm a kid again. That doesn't happen to every show. So when I was there in the pit, screaming the words along with other strangers, we were like screaming at each other's faces, and it was pure joy. That's not something that I can predict. Or being in the mosh pit. Like, I don't go in mosh pits anymore. That's a young man's game. You know, you're nuts if you go into a pit in your late 30s. Pushing 40, like me. But that's what we're doing now, man. System of a Down is a legacy band. Think about that. You know what I mean? Damn. Where the hell has the time gone? Maybe that's what you could put in the comments. When this generation grows older and you're in your late 30s, what are going to be the legacy bands that headline Metlife Stadium? But then again, so much has changed, and music means something different to people every generation. So, you know, it's like you really can't compare. So anyway, that's all I have. The concert was a real great experience. And as I said, if you want to learn to explore the capabilities within your voice and warm up, I've created a free vocal warm-ups course. Warm up to sing anything you want, and you can find that directly below in the description or in the pinned comment. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.